Hello and welcome back to my channel, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this story because boy is it an interesting one. It's full of toxic people, particularly one friend. If you do enjoy it, please give this video a like. And now onto the story. When we were younger, in our senior year of high school, he, now a 31-year-old male, was our substitute teacher, and obviously all the girls liked him because he was the only young teacher we had. And I, a 23-year-old female, would be lying if I said that no one tried to flirt with him, because we all did at the time, but he was always very professional and never tried anything with any of us. He and I met again a year after graduation, and that's when we started dating. And at first, my friend, who's now 23 years old, used to joke, saying things like that I was very lucky to have what everyone wanted in high school. And at first it was funny because things between my husband and I weren't that serious, but then our relationship became very, very serious, and I didn't like those jokes anymore, and I let her know. She eventually stopped, and for years, she never joked like that again. She also got a boyfriend, so I thought that all those things were behind us and in the past. But apparently it wasn't like that at all. A few days ago, I was taking pictures of our baby and our dog with my husband's phone, since his phone is 1,000 times better than mine, and at that moment he received a DM from an anonymous Instagram account. So I opened it and I didn't like what I saw at all, because it was a video of my friend touching herself. At first I was too naive and thought that maybe she sent it to the wrong person, but then she said something like she was mad that he blocked her main account and asked him if he liked the other video, which means that she sent him other videos from her main account. So I found the chat, and yes, he had blocked her, but the chat was still there, which means that he could still see those pictures and videos whenever he wants, and just thinking about that makes me feel really sick. In that chat, she confessed that she had always been in love with him and that her boyfriend didn't satisfy her because she could only think about him, and that she knows that lately he's not having much fun, and if he wants, she can give him a hand without anyone knowing. And that hurt so much, because a few weeks ago we talked about how ashamed I felt about having sex again, because I gave birth 2 months ago, and that I felt insecure about my body. But I told her that as good friends that I thought that we were, because I expected her to give me advice or something. I don't know, I didn't expect her to try and sleep with my husband. And the only thing my husband told her was that she was crazy and that he was going to show me the chat so that I could easily see who she really was, and then he blocked her. But it's been a few days and he never showed me those chats, and that makes me think that maybe he liked those pictures and videos, so I confronted him. And he told me that he didn't even care about her, and that he didn't tell me anything about those messages because he didn't know how to tell me, and because he thought that finding out about that could be bad for me. I'd really had a bad time during my pregnancy, and he's been very concerned about my health ever since, so that's why he said that. And he told me that's why he locked himself in the office whenever she came to visit us, because she makes him feel uncomfortable. Then I asked him if he thinks that our bedroom life is boring, and he said no. That he is satisfied, and that he doesn't mind not sleeping with me for weeks, because when we did sleep together, it felt like the first time. And hearing that was really nice, but I can't stop thinking about why he didn't delete the chat. He says it was so that he could show me when he was ready, but I don't know. Now we're on vacation, but all I can do is think about that. And every time that we sleep together, I think that maybe I'm not good enough, and that's why he didn't delete the chat, to see her pics and videos. But he ended up noticing that, so he told me 1,000 times that he thinks that I'm hot and that he only thinks of me when we're sleeping together, and that he only saw those pics and videos when he opened the chat for the first time, and then he never saw them again. He even told me that the only time that he ever helped himself when looking at someone's pictures was when he looked at pictures from me when I was pregnant, and he swore that he doesn't even think that my so-called friend is attractive. I feel so confused. We've been together for 5 years, and I never felt this way, and I don't know what to do to stop feeling this way. Maybe it's the hormones, I don't know, but I feel so sad and so bad about myself, and I would like to know how I could deal with this. So these are some comments that OP made that sort of explains the situation between her and her husband. She claims that her husband was a substitute teacher only for a month and a half, and that she didn't see him again until after she graduated from high school. They met again a year later when she was in college and he was doing his PhD. They didn't share any of the same classes. They met during breaks and he usually helped her with exams and stuff, but just as friends. And no, they never communicated before that. She claims that she never had his numbers and that she only saw him during break, but he didn't see her, so she decided to contact him on Instagram. She told him that she saw him, etc., and then asked him one day if they could meet up during break so that he could help her with her first exam. He accepted and they started to become friends and eventually started dating each other. That's all. Somebody asked OP why he was teaching elementary school back then, and she replied, "No problem. He teaches elementary school to kids and he teaches at college level too. Last year, he got his first job at college as a substitute for a few weeks, and then this year, he finally got a job as a full professor. He'll start within a few weeks." Now, these are some comments and responses from Reddit. It's pretty clear to me that he's being completely honest. It's not an easy conversation to say, "Hey, your friend is trying to sleep with me, and you've been clear that you're more self-conscious right now." He probably doesn't feel like it was the best time, and if he was really trying to hide it without showing, he'd save the pictures and delete the chat. Someone replied, "I don't know what people in this sub are smoking, but not deleting chats and pics and other stuff is completely normal. I work in IT and you'd be surprised, but people are digital hoarders and hardly ever delete anything. Go by the facts that you know. You can read the whole chat, he didn't hide it. He called her crazy and blocked her. He hid in his office whenever she came to visit. Nothing in his action indicates that he's even remotely interested in her in any way. She used the information you trusted her with to try to get him. He hasn't broken your trust. The rest is your insecurities, which is completely understandable, humane, and normal. Most women feel insecure about their bodies during and after pregnancy, but that still is your insecurities. Don't put them on your husband. I think in this case, your husband has been faithful. He's had good intentions in why he didn't tell you yet. Ill-advised, but still good. He was harassed by your friend. He didn't ask, nor did he want this, and he had no clue how to handle it. Forgive him for taking a bit of time to think it through. He could not have handled the situation better. This guy's a keeper. I think he's honestly disgusted by her. Don't make him pay for what she did. I totally understand why you're freaking out though. Just the thought that he might have enjoyed 1 second of this would send me off the rails. But that's because I'm jealous that way. LOL. I don't think he even got a millisecond of enjoyment out of this. This is harassment. If it were the other way around, you'd probably get a restraining order. He could have handled this better. If he's been uncomfortable enough that he hides in the office when she visits, he should have told OP why he felt that way from that point. He's been letting her think this enemy is a friend of hers, hanging out and being vulnerable with her when he knew what she really wants. That just endangered his wife unnecessarily, and the silence then looked suspicious to his wife. I'm sure he did it because it's hard to tell your spouse something like that, but it made things worse. When I first posted, I hadn't talked to my friend yet. I wasn't going to confront her on the phone. We had to have a face-to-face. So when I got back from my trip 2 days ago, I decided to go to her house and I told her everything I saw, and of course she made up 1,000 excuses. Being honest, that really pissed me off because she was playing the victim and I wasn't going to believe that. So I told her to stop lying, but she kept lying and lying and lying and was getting on my nerves. So I started crying because it hurt me so much to see how she was lying like we haven't been friends for years. And apparently that made her really mad because she started saying so many horrible things that I couldn't even believe that she was saying. She said that she always got what she wanted and that she couldn't understand how someone like me could get what she wanted so much. And she even tried to make me look like the bad guy and accused me of harassing my husband in the past. She said that because I went to the same college where he was doing his PhD, but I didn't even know that because I had never contacted him. It was just a complete coincidence that we went to the same college. And she knows that perfectly well, but she kept saying things like that anyway. She told me that I hooked up with him because I wanted to prove to her that I could get whatever I want, but that's not true. I never planned any of this, it just happened. But according to her, I'm a psychopath who harassed him and trapped him with a baby that he didn't want, which is also a lie because our baby was planned and she knows that too. So I don't know why she was saying those things. It's like she's gone crazy or something. What hurt the most is that it's as if she thinks that our years of friendship were just a competition about who was the prettiest. But I always knew this because she was always the prettiest and I was her shadow, but I was fine with that. A competition about who was most intelligent, the most successful with men, etc. But for me, our friendship was more than that. I really loved her and I would have never thought that everything would end like this because I trusted her with my whole life. She was there when I took my pregnancy test, when I was pregnant, and even when my daughter was born. But those moments were really important in my life and she knew it. So I don't know what happened to her. She's acting like she's lost her mind, and it honestly scares me. If my husband didn't reject her, was she going to sleep with him while pretending to be my friend? Just thinking about it makes me feel sick to my stomach. I told her that now she's dead to me, and she didn't even care. She kept trying to make me feel bad, and of course I left. I didn't want to listen to her. I just want everything that happened to be a dream. But since it isn't, I guess from now on I'll have to learn to live without her. But that's my therapist's business, not Reddit's. So guys, what did you think? I thought it was honestly very crazy. The friend was so toxic. Honestly, if you have someone like that, even remotely close to that, just say bye-bye. You don't need that type of negativity and toxicity in your life. The age gap is a little shady, but it's legal, and I do think that the husband handled the situation well, and that OP did have some insecurities, which is completely understandable. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this, and please subscribe for more stories from Reddit and their updates.